All right, everybody. Thank you for coming to another episode of the Believers Club. We're into our 30s now.
I think so, yeah.
Our episodes are into our 30s, and we are into our 30s too.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
It was Serena's birthday just a few days ago, and so today's episode I thought it'd be really special if we could just highlight her and just talk about some of the biggest lessons that you've learned, Serena, over the past. Do you want me to give the number away?
Well, 32.
32 years.
I made it public on my page. That's not. I think it was crazy. I woke up different. 32 is completely different because I think I've just been learning so many of these lessons that I do have written down.
Yeah.
Throughout my life, and now they're just making sense, and I'm actually putting in the work to make sure they make sense and make sure all the things I've been through, there's a reason for why that's there. That's up to me to make that choice. So I'm choosing to use them as like my power tool and my superpower. So
woo!
Yeah,
birthday special today.
Birthday
so
special.
Excited.
By now it'll be a week late, but it was last week, and it's still going on. I think I have a few things planned, and it's just and for like number one thing, when I woke up, I just felt so secure, and I just felt like telling my younger self, like, you're gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, you're trying to go through things, and I went through, we've talked about so many emotional ups and downs, like anger issues, just all these things resulted from the things I've been through and the way my life went. But now looking back, you just think like, you could have just told you, like, I wish at that moment I knew that it's okay. Like, I don't need to let all these things get to me. So that's what I've learned, that it's okay. You're going to figure it out. You just need to know your time will come. If you're going to put in the time will come to you.
I love that. So was that your your thought waking up on your 32nd birthday?
It was just like, it was a good feeling. I was like, I've put in so much work. I'm fine with where I am. Like, I'm actually so content.
And have you always felt this way on your birthday?
No, I've had the shittiest birthdays for the last like 4 or 5 years, just waking up in a struggle almost, like just
pissed off.
Yeah, and just
I get that.
Just pissed off at yourself and the world, and but still trying to push through, because I've never been the type to give up.
Yeah.
That's been there. But you just wake up with the struggle for no goddamn reason. Like, it's shit's out of my control. So what can I control is exactly that. And that's what I've learned. So I woke up feeling in more control and like just more content.
What'd you do on your birthday? Like, what was that day? Walk us through the day.
Oh,
I'm curious.
I pretty much ate. It was like a nice eating day.
Yeah, that's a lesson.
No, you know what? I've been actually watching a lot of Robin Sharma, and I love his philosophy about the 5 a.m. club, and I have been applying that to my life. Today I actually woke up at 10:30, but that's okay. I've been applying that, and that day I had been getting up. I think it's been about third week into this now, and I'm writing things down and just making sure I'm following through with it. And so I started my day 5 a.m. got out, went for a walk. It was like an hour and a half walk, probably outside. Me and the world, dark as hell. It was on the weekend. It was Saturday, and it was perfect. It was quiet, no work, traffic, nothing. Got home, put my day together, and made a Walmart trip. Went and got some breakfast for myself. Vegan Benedict. It's like from chickpea. It's like eggs Benedict.
Oh, I get
it. A vegan version of it. Yes. Or it's eggs Benedict. It's not eggs, but yeah.
Right.
But anyways, got awesome breakfast.
You went down to Main Street?
Yeah, I went to Main.
Oh, love it.
Picked it up myself.
Serena has the best days sometimes.
Just by myself, jamming out to my music. And came home, had my breakfast, and napped for a little bit after that, because I was full and tired from waking up early, because I went to bed at midnight the night before. And then had some dinner. It was just good.
I forgot something. My ass decided.
And this, yes, I didn't want to speak. I
wanted to share this because
there you go.
It makes me. This is why I want to share this, is because it doesn't matter how old you get, you have to stay a kid.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
still
yeah.
have to have
Yeah.
that, because we can like have such a deep, meaningful discussion, and
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
could
yeah.
like
No, yeah, we do.
we're on that road. But
Yeah.
I called her and she's like, I just had a nap. And I was like, man, you're really 32. And I remember, so as vegans, Serena and I are both vegan, right?
Mhm.
And so brought over some treats, and I played in the club.
She entered my garage playing the song and dancing to it with the donut box in her hand. And I had no idea what she was bringing at that point.
She was still waking up from her nap.
I'm like, no. I was just like, at first I didn't hear the song because it's just loud. It was just a funny, but like, that's what we do. Like, it's comedy besides the serious things that we've learned, or you know how just getting really deep into
you
it.
have to be
We
able
do
to
shit
both.
like that. She entered literally. I'm like, what the? First of all, I couldn't even hear the song. I'm like, what the fuck
First
she
of all-
jamming to? She's like, yo, in the club. I'm like, I got it. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, what's up? What you get
That
me?
song.
I want the food. I knew that at that point it was some type of food that she brought me. But anyways,
And her dogs are just like so pumped too. I
Yeah.
love Boss CC Diamond, and it just like, I have to say, over the years of me knowing Serena, like my tribute to her.
We've known each other for 20 years now, pretty much.
Yeah. My tribute to her in this episode is really just, one, I have to say, Serena's always been a very consistent friend, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I can't say that you are someone as a friend that's changed on me or has like
Yeah.
pulled any sort of maneuvers or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
like you go through some things with friends sometimes where somebody maybe pulls a fast one and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And you go through that journey with them. But I don't think I've ever had that with Serena, and she's always been consistently there. And the other thing too is that she is the definition of loyalty.
Yes.
Right, even when you don't ask.
Not
for
to say
it.
yes to that, but I believe that deeply within me as well.
And there's this one moment in particular that it really hit home. I had given my car back to the dealership, okay, a couple years ago, and I remember,
I don't know the story, so I'm listening. Yeah.
It was the best decision that I could have made for myself financially at that time, because I had just quit my job, and I gave my lease back early, and they let me do it, no penalties, so I went for it. I'm now in Surrey, carless, because I dropped my car off in Surrey. I hop on the bus. I give Serena a call and I said, hey, I know we're starting our own business venture. I'm quitting my job. The podcast is being done and produced. And this is a situation now. I've given my car back and I'm going to be a transit commuter while I build up my business. And Serena said, and I said to her, I was like, I'm going to have to get used to like busing again and all that. And her response to me was, fuck that. You have friends that have cars. Like, you need something, you need to be somewhere. Like, we come to you. Like, we'll hook you up. Like, you are in need to get somewhere, call your friends, man. Like, I'll be there for you. What do you mean you have to rearrange your whole life when there's people all around you that drive and we have your back? Like, fuck that. And then she goes, if I wasn't like at an appointment or doing something right now, I'd pick you up from Surrey right now and bring you home. Right. And it just, that conversation was enough for me. And I remember during those times when we were recording and we were getting together, Serena comes to Ladner, we'd have meetings, right? She'd come to me, and it was always just that loyalty and that respect I knew I always had for her as a friend, because she's there in your corner. And that's been something all the way, from 13 to 32, and I'm sure even before that she's been that way. So
that I definitely agree with the traits, because you know how sometimes people ask you, what are the describe yourself. It's like nice to know somebody else to tell you, you know what, I can vouch for that for myself. At this point, it's not, for me, it's not cocky or I'm arrogant. No, I'm proud to be that person. Period. Like anybody would want to be. And the second thing I've learned is that patience was going to be my biggest challenge in my life, but it was going to be the superpower and the thing that was going to be the most fruitful for my future, and what I'm actually working through now, and what has been actually helping me through certain things. So it's an ongoing process. It's my biggest challenge, but I know my biggest blessing comes from being patient. I don't know where you are with your patience, but it's a test every single day. But
you've definitely grown in that aspect. And I think when we learn these lessons throughout our life, our birthdays become easier to digest, because some people really struggle with the fact that they're getting another year older.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And for me, the shittier birthdays, it wasn't even about the number. Maybe it was like the 30 might have been like maybe subconsciously, and I wasn't fully, even happy about it either way. But it wasn't even about the number. It was just not. I just woke up different this time. And I think it's more about how much work I've just been putting in. And it luckily ended up being 32 that I realized and woke up. And hopefully the next 32 is I wake up the same way, feeling good and like okay with where I am. Yeah. No matter where I am in the next 10, 15 years, which is only going to be up because I'm going to work for it.
Because we're always growing every single day. I made a post about this yesterday, that you can't cram your growth. You can't rush it.
No.
You can't speed past it, because even right now, in this realization, in this moment, you're growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Even if you feel stagnant, you're growing.
Yeah. No, as we talk about things, it's, no. And like, you already know what you want. When you know it, you'll start. Like, that's what it's about too. Like, just be patient. Just keep putting in the work. Always know that you have to put in the work. That's another one I've learned. You have to work for what the fuck you want in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you want anything, driven. A body, a fucking piece of food, a bus pass, anything, go getting your driver's license renewed, you have to go do it.
There was a moment.
That was clearly personal, because I kept putting that off.
I felt like that was a preacher moment. I wanted to say amen.
Seriously, you have to. And I think it takes a lot of going through life to realize that that's what it is.
It makes sense though that you've been working so hard and you've been achieving goals, because one, like I said, you're a very consistent friend, and you show up that way probably in business too. You're consistent. I don't think Serena misses a post. I don't think Serena misses a beat.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, she said that she's learned so much about patience. Those are the two biggest ingredients when it comes to your goals.
Yeah.
Right there,
truly,
right?
Yeah. And especially as you get older, especially if you start late in your years, which is like 20s or whatever you want to call late, 40s, 50s, you feel like it needs to happen. Like patience is they say patience is virtue, and it truly is. Like if you can get to that place of just being okay. Yes, it's gonna get to you. Yes, you want it yesterday, but know that it'll come tomorrow.
Yeah. And who cares if it comes tomorrow or if it comes in 2 days or next week?
Tomorrow's 10 years from now. That's your tomorrow is when it is.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a fact, but you have to work towards it. Patience and work toward it. But always love yourself before expecting it from anybody else, a partner, a family member, a mother, a father. Yes, up until you learn. I'm talking about this is, in your teens, in your 20s and 30s and 40s, when we forget our biggest love is us for ourselves. That's what I've learned in the last. All these things are literally the things I've actually been applying in the last 5 years. This is not something. So that tells you that 27 is when I actually started putting in the work.
What happened at 27 where you were like, fuck, I gotta change this?
Well, I moved here. I moved back to Van from Calgary, and it was just a change, and I wanted to start, I had just started my page, and that's my business, and, I had all these dreams, and it just, but I was scattered. I wasn't fully prepared, and that's okay, because you will figure it out.
Where she is.
Because you're only going to learn by putting in work, and that's going to happen from fucking up. From all the failures, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what you choose to do. Learn from them instead of fucking up every single time.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Sidebar, when I got the message 5 years ago saying that she's coming back to Vancouver, I think I dropped my phone. Because
I was after like 12 years.
I was like, let me find you a place. Like and she's like, I'm moving close by, and I was like, oh my god.
And I'm in Richmond. Like we're 15 minutes away, so it's like, and this is my childhood, and like I think you guys were
My
always
dreams,
like a
I
reminder.
felt complete again.
Yeah, like these guys, like if you guys don't know, so I lived in India and I moved back to BC for 2 years before moving to Calgary for 12. And in those 2 years, I built so many relationships that are to this day are like my permanent forevers. And like so that this was always home. And even when I lived in India, this was always home. I was born in Van, and it's like I was always taken away from this bitch. Like I wanted to be back here so bad. And but yeah, so whatever, ended up back here, and I think that started the process. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
If you're trying to keep track, Serena was born here in BC.
Yeah. Moved to India
when she was like 2.
4. Lived there for 7 years.
7 years.
In those 7 years, came here for grade 4. Did grade 4 here in Surrey. So, but it's scattered. So went there, came back, lived here for 2 years, moved to Calgary for 12, visited BC throughout those 12 years, like every year, and then moved back here now 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been it's the 5 years altogether. It was like the last year before moving here when I was going through the most transition, and then coming here, it just like pushed me to only face more challenges and like figure out what the fuck I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So it's been a journey. I'll say that much. Another one that I have: all the traumas or negative things that happen will only build your will and make you stronger. And I used to beat myself up. I used to, let my abuse and all that shit be like, give that victim mentality. You say it's okay to know that you've gone through a trauma. Like I'm not undermining it, because I will never do that. Mm-hmm. That changed my life forever. But if I knew then what I know now, that it was going to be my superpower and that's going to be what's going to keep pushing me, I would have been a different person. Amazing. But that's what I've learned.
And we shared in one of the earlier episodes about that trauma.
Yeah, you guys can check out. Back. Yeah, hopefully we put it in the description. Sometimes so you'll figure it out. That we get personal even on Harj's journey, so you guys can get to know that side. But it's just know your traumas will lead you to
your mama's. I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean? They'll
lead you to where you need to
and
be.
And it's going to be up to it's up to you, and it's going to be your choice. We've talked about that because we've gotten to that point where we almost gave up and didn't want to. So know that if you push through it, you'll get to a place of so much contentness because you realize your strength through all that bullshit.
You don't have to be a positive person all the time. I posted this on IG yesterday. I said, you don't have to always be positive. Yeah. Like we beat ourselves up sometimes. Like my mom, who's going through stage 4 cancer, said to me yesterday, because she's so positive through this journey. And I said, Mom, that is what's keeping you going. And she said, yeah, but Harj, I'm also scared. And I can tell that sometimes she feels guilty for having fear or for being sad sometimes. And I'm like, no, woman, that is a part of the human journey. You're gonna be scared even when you're happy. Yeah. Even like your most successful goals are gonna make you sad sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you go through many crying nights. Entrepreneurs know out there.
And I'm sure as happy as makeup makes you, I'm sure there's been times of sadness or frustration with it.
Sometimes there's more stresses than, and that's just the fact of life too. But I have gotten to a place where I pay attention to more of those happy moments and try to push the negative ones aside. As much as they get to you, just push it aside.
Yeah.
Watch something that's going to change your mind. And that's when I go to Robin Sharma. No joke, like that motherfucker has changed my life and he knows it.
That makes me so happy.
Support your own dreams. Don't look or expect it from others, including family or friends, until you have gotten to a place when they just want to jump on board.
We did an episode on this too, by the way.
Yes, yeah. Trust me. All these have been there. There's a reason these are here because it's things that we have talked about already.
Yeah.
And
we dug deep.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. So be your biggest support system. You have to, as in you gotta make the calls. You have to make yourself vulnerable. You have to post. You have to do all these things. you have to get it done for yourself. Don't expect it from others. If people do it, be grateful.
Bonus.
You're blessed. If they don't, you're still blessed, because
Oh.
you have to fucking put in the work.
Yes.
That's where I am today. 4 years ago, I was like blaming everybody else, not showing me what I needed to show myself.
Yes. And I think that the work that we do, like we make that post, we upload that video, like we do it, and that is worth 10 times more than another person doing it, because everybody else that shares your work, that supports you, is your bonus. They are your extra 5 point
There's
star.
that sticker, that extra sticker that we got back. That's what it is. But you are your biggest champ. You have to be that.
You're the map.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Always be yourself, even if you question yourself, or you may not be always liked for being yourself.
Oh, that's one that I'm still learning.
Yes.
Oh, and
that kind of that taps into people pleasing, and I'm kind of over that shit. I've been over it. We've talked about it, being South Asian, people pleasing is like top priority. It's top priority. And I have been struggling with it from living in Calgary, from living in BC, just like, having so much bigger family and just so many different energies that you realize it's just energies. Yes, you're connected with some form of blood and some type of relation that's been formed there, but at the end of the day, it's all energies, and everyone is different. But that you have to be yourself, no matter what it is. If people don't like it, let them get used to it. Just make sure you're right, though. That's what my biggest lesson. Like, I've gotten to that place where I am okay being not liked. We've talked about this before. Yeah,
that's it. You're really good at that. You've become really, really good at that, and I'm still working through that.
It's a big one.
I'll be looking to you as an example.
It's been a long ass journey, and it's when I say that, I was telling my cousin, actually, I'm like, the other day we were talking, and I'm like, when people say, oh, they don't really care, they seem like they don't, I'm like, that's like, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. But as a human, you do give a fuck, because I do have kindness in my heart. So always know that, like, yes, I'll always be myself, but not to detriment somebody else. Or when my intention is everything. So that I've learned that for myself, and I feel that's what's true. Like, your intent really truly matters when you do something. I don't know what
it's true. Intention is the power behind everything. Right? They always say, like, well, at least their heart's in a good place, or your intention is so critical, because your intention literally will speak volumes even when you're not able to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's the reason why you're bringing something up, or why something is there.
Totally.
Sure. Yeah. Give your time to those who respect it and give you theirs. I've learned, I used to give my time to everybody, and very little time came back to me. So that was just depleting my time. So as I've gotten to this point, back to not being liked and all those things, I've made my group really small, and where the energies are, they're closer, and I don't have to deplete myself. And if people are if there's an effort being put in, I'm there 100%.
Yeah.
They'll never have to question my loyalty or my consistency on showing up. But if I've gone to a place where now I've questioned your time,
intention too,
and your intention, because your intention would be to show up, but why wouldn't you show up? So their intention truly matters, and like
100%.
So that's what. Give your time to those truly the people in your life. Like, give your time to people. Whoever gives you time, make sure you fucking give it back.
And what's really interesting too is, like, giving your time. I've learned this, giving your time to people that respect themselves. Because I say this because I have so much more respect for someone that's like, listen, these are my boundaries. This is what I can do. This is what I have time for, as opposed to somebody that doesn't have respect for their own time and their own goals.
You know what? Yeah.
I can't be super close to
I'm
that.
at that. You know what? At this point, that's my thing now. That's what I'm working through to get rid of even those little increments that are just
the floaters.
And then also that they're just not helping you grow.
Yeah.
And they're not helping themselves grow.
Yeah.
So again, back to, you want people who are willing to grow, are working on their growth right now.
Yeah. 100%.
Instead of kind of staying stagnant and just saying they want to grow.
Yes.
Saying they want to, but the actions don't match up with the words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speak up for yourself in friendships if your intention isn't to harm. That was just something I felt sometimes as in friendships, or even like, not even just friendship, but just, that was just something, because I have a lot of close-knit friends, but I've gotten to the place where, you know, I'm very forward. I'm forward to the point I might say, so they're like, what the fuck? Like,
we've had our moments.
Yes. But she knows, she will always know my intention is never to, it's always going to be like, she's my, you know, she's one of my forevers. So the intention is huge. So in that sense,
we've grown through so much through that too.
Yes.
Because I've learned to also state my
and speak up. There you go.
Right? Because I know that I'm not coming from a place of wanting to like argue. I'm coming from a place of wanting to like
respect,
like figure it out.
Yeah, right? yeah. And also be respected in that process while we're figuring 100%. It out. Yeah. Because that's something we've talked about it. Another episode.
That was an episode.
She checked me, and that was great. Because that probably sorted me out. Like last year 2020 has been a rough ass, crazy ass year, but I feel like it was a blessing in disguise for me, personal experience. Thank God. You know, I've had many crazy years prior, and I'm sure I'm going to have crazy ass years ahead, but it was a blessing in disguise, and that was another thing, and that only taught me. So speak up, and that might teach you, or it might teach your friends, or whoever you want to speak up to, your family and things like that. That could be another episode we could talk about. Happiness won't come from money, but from how you treat yourself.
We did an episode on that too last week.
You better check
money
that one
mindset
out.
Because it has so much to do with your self-respect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is proof that we live what we put out. Episodes.
Yeah.
The episodes that we didn't even, I didn't even know about
these. I
just
just wrote down. Yeah, I brought them. I literally put these down as soon as I'm like, oh, what are we talking about today?
And these are the things that
it came off of my heart.
We make episodes on these very lessons. Yeah. So these are part of our life.
Yeah. Being alone doesn't have to be lonely, but perfect to get to know yourself. And because we've talked another episode, we've talked about being alone, and we used to create our own freaking fantasies and things like that. So I've been great being alone, but sometimes you can get to a place where you might go too deep if you're too alone. And that's where you got to catch yourself. And thank God I've gotten to a place again. I've learned that, you know what, that actually is my superpower, being alone. And now at a place where I actually get shit done when I'm alone, and not just sit in my misery or whatever it was 4 years ago. That's what I've learned. So it's okay to be alone, because you know what? Hopefully you figure out what the fuck you're gonna do with your life.
I love that.
Yeah. Last one. Effort is everything next to intent. Intention was brought up the whole time, and to me, effort is everything. And that ties back to so many of these things, like speaking up for yourself and giving time to those who give it to you. Effort is a lot to me at this level. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I didn't even look at that. I didn't pay attention to who was giving me what while I was giving everything of mine. And that's not to say that, you know, people say don't give to expect anything back. That's not what it was. It was just when you just give and give and give and give, and don't even realize how much you're losing yourself. So now I'm at a point where effort is everything. You give me effort, you get something back.
I love that.
Yeah.
And your goals too. You can have intentions to be successful, but put no action or effort behind it, and it's not going to get you anywhere. You can have caviar dreams, but like beer actions, whatever that means.
That doesn't go. They don't go together.
They don't go together. Sure. Yeah, caviar and beer. You never hear about that. Maybe caviar and like wine, right? But your effort has to be at the same level as your intentions. If you have extraordinary caviar dreams, you have to know what it's going to take to get that. Like you don't want to just put in cheap effort. It's not going to taste good. You have to be able to
Yeah.
bring that caviar effort out. And even if you don't know how to do it, you will figure it out if you start.
Yeah. And know that right next to consistency, effort, being patient, intention, all these things. And you're good. If you work on all those, I feel like that's what's led me to here, and hopefully another 32, and I'm somewhere else.
This is like one of my favorite episodes, I think. Hands down, because it all ties together.
Wait till we met. This one's right 3 months behind me, so it's
February.
coming.
Oh man,
because it really it challenged me to just kind of look inward, so it was great. It was great.
I love that. Oh man, we thank you guys for being with us. I think we're at 32 or 33 episodes, so we're almost at that age, you know. So anyways, that's just my weird analogy. I thank you guys. We thank you guys for being a part of our journey and learning some of these things along the way. And we want to keep hearing your feedback. Keep sharing with us. Tell us about if you've recently had a birthday, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Give your birthday. Give your top 2 or 3. Give top 2 or 3 in the comments if you can. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're mostly active on IG and YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe, share, tell everybody, whoever can benefit from these conversations that we have amongst two friends. But till next time.
Bye.
Bye.